Hello, hello, hello. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever, whenever that you may be joining. This is Yonks, and as always, bringing the excitement here. We are now at day number 6 for the Money Printer in this live stream series that Tyler and I started. Let me see when it was here. I'm in Google Docs. We love Google Docs and their subtabs feature, and it'll be interesting to see what it looks like to move towards a more ownership situation. But anyway, September 9th, day one of this live stream series, and this is something that we're going to continue bringing forward in the building of the money printer. And one of the things that I was talking to Tyler about before we went live is really simple. We want to get great at document, iterate, and automate. And this is where I don't expect that the money printer is just going to run autonomously forever. Like machines need maintenance. Anybody that's ever had any sort of machine, whether it's a computer, a car, or any piece of technology, knows that it needs to get serviced. So this is where we're really building a solid foundation. But the thing that's pretty fabulous about technology is a lot of the times it can run for a long period of time without needing to be revamped. So, that being said, very excited with the technology foundation that we've been building on. And one of the things that's worth mentioning, and before I do that, I'm going to actually just scroll down. I'm going to be completely candid. We right now aren't going to spend a lot of time building our Yonks team website outside of the context of these conversations. The reason that I love this format is that it makes it very easy for me. I have a very, very perfectionist nature. This is something that I have an elevated self awareness about myself. And the reason that I love this format is I press go and it largely goes on autopilot. This is a format, the live stream format that we've been, and I actually want to show this piece of content, talking about a piece of content. Let me bring open a Notion page here real quick. Why the live stream format? So this is something here, and I'll actually share this link for you all. This live stream format, like just to unpack the history, and this is one of the things I love about Notion. Um, well, and I don't even have the full history on here because I think our account only goes back so far. But this is a format that Tyler and I have been refining since 2021, and I'm really excited to bring workflow automation through our WeOwn.Cloud, WeOwn AI technology solutions. But let me grab this link and share this with you all on the live stream. But do you want to talk any, Tyler, about this live stream format? Why the live stream format? Why you love it? Why I love it?
Well, I, I know why you love it because you're such a perfectionist. If we recorded it, you'd want to polish it and edit it and reshoot it, and then that's just what we would do. It's just reshoot our live streams when it's out there. It's just out there, so it's kind of fun. I think there's a couple things. One is when we started down the content thing together, 10 years ago, we were at a conference, and I remember Russell Brunson did this session where he started off and he said, "Hey, I want to let you guys know that I'm the highest paid keynote speaker in the world." And I thought, I've actually never heard of you. How can that be possible? And he was selling a $3,000 program with a 50% affiliate. And I think he was the affiliate. And so he ended up selling, I'm going to embarrass myself on the math. He did however many $3,000 programs that he needed to make $1.5 million during this conference, during his 1 hour speech. And then he showed this session that he did when he very first started, and he was wearing this geeky looking shirt and tie, and he's reading off note cards, just kind of stumbling all over himself. And I thought, when you get out there and you present your ideas, sometimes you'll stumble, sometimes you'll hit a home run, sometimes you'll do stuff in the middle. And I just think it's kind of fun to share a journey with people and just see who wants to participate, who shows up, the good, the bad, the ugly, whatever. And yeah,
So that being said, ClickFunnels is absolutely some of the inspiration for our marketing model that we're incorporating here with We Own AI and We Own Cloud, and went to and did we buy Russell Brunson's pitch, Tyler?
yeah, 3 grand. That was when you went to Nashville or somewhere.
No, that was at
And
10x.
yeah, that's the conference I was talking about. That was the first time I'd ever heard Russell Brunson.
Yeah, so that included the ClickFunnels. I can't remember what their event was, and this is something that we're absolutely going to be incorporating in our strategy. But anyway, besides ClickFunnels, Go High Level is another inspiration for, and we didn't actually use Go High Level with where we were at. I really wasn't that excited about it was basically more of an open source built using WordPress iteration of ClickFunnels, but this is where I was already fairly well down the AI rabbit holes and having a better appreciation. I was like, I think I know what we're building will be better. And this is where like the opportunity to get great at marketing. And that's one of the elements of the money printer. There's the technology aspects. And then there's also, and this is where we're entering an interesting, not an interesting, the most compelling technology leap with agentic AI. But anyway, I thought that that was worth providing a little bit of a backstory, ClickFunnels and Go High Level, to better understand. Because like right now, I'm not interested in doing like here you can see 14-day trial. With where we're at in the solution that we're building, I don't want to do a trial. Now, this is something that may change as I will as you all have seen, have no problem pivoting when it makes sense. So that being said, that may be something that we think about. Like right now, I think that with what we're building and just working to continue to elevate our minimum viable product with We Own AI Lite and We Own Cloud. But anyway, let's get back on track. That was a nice little tangent to our templated agenda. So, this templated agenda is something that we have continued to refine through our live stream format. Primarily, we've been, and the thing that's kind of interesting is that this is the first time that we've been a lot more intentional about building our personal brand. Most of the time, and this is one of the things that going back to the 10x event, it was absolutely forever ingrained into my serial entrepreneur soul hearing Ty Lopez talk about the importance of building your personal brand and the difference of a business brand. And I don't know if you wanted to share any reflections, Tyler. Go ahead.
Yeah, so there's two things. One is if you don't know who Ty Lopez is, his name is Tai Lopez. And one of the things he said there are sort of an infinite number of ways that people can misspell my first name and my last name. So if you have a name that is even mildly hard to spell by every misspelled variation of it and every misspelled variation of your company name and use them all as redirects because you don't want to lose traffic because people are misspelling your name and that's going somewhere else. So that was kind of funny. Um, the other thing that really showed up for me is when he said Tony Robbins Inc. is not worth anywhere near the amount of money if Tony Robbins got hit by a bus tomorrow. There are other coaches and there are books and whatnot, but the brand is him. He and the brand are functionally the same. Same with Dave Ramsey. Same with a lot of these things. And then um, on the opposite of that, I couldn't pick Larry Ellison out of a crowd for all the money in the world. I don't know what he looks like and whatever. So he's got a personal brand, but his brand is his name. It's not his personality. And then there are
No, his bags are in Oracle. Let's just
well, no,
call
I
it
mean,
what it
I know they're
is.
in Oracle, but but he's not. out there like Zuck or Elon or Tim Cook or any of these guys who their brand is their personality and their CEO role. Trump did a roundtable at the White House the other day, and I was looking through. I was like, okay, so there's Zuck, there's Sundar Pichai, there's this guy, there's that guy, and I'm pretty sure I could name every CEO in the table in the photograph, and I thought this is really crazy. I've never worked in any of these companies, but they've built out the kind of the cult personality of the brand because they know that's what did it. And I think Elon's probably the most famous example when he did some stuff and people were like, "Oh my god, I love you. Oh my god, I hate you. Oh my god, I love you again. Oh my god, I hate you again." And has absolutely nothing to do with it's shocking how much his personality is driving up his stock or down his stock or making people love his products or making people hate his products over stuff that has nothing to do with his products. Like that's the some of the power and the challenge of a personal brand and a business brand. Um, so yeah, it's just been really interesting to kind of think through some of that stuff.
Yeah, and that's something that we will continue to have as an ethos for really fostering the power, the opportunity, the importance of building a personal brand. Because one thing that I have a fairly high degree of certainty, the future of work for the next 20 years is going to look very different than it did the last 20 years. Or like here we're in 2025, like we're at a quarter of a century here. The next 25 years is going to look very different than it did the last 25 years. And you think about like the dot com era, the dot com crash, and I don't know exactly what moment around 2000 ish, 2001 ish, the dot com crash occurred. Um, the proliferation of digital technology in the 21st century looks very different than what work looked like from 1975 to 2000. And one of the things that like I don't know if you remember the biggest non-event of my lifetime was like the when was that? The New Year's Eve turning around the digital clock.
Y2K,
Yeah,
January or
Y2K.
yeah, I remember. Yeah, we were holding our breath. I was talking to somebody at IBM in 1996, and she's like, "We are ready." And and I remember that was the first time I'd ever heard the word Y2K. And she had explained it to me. She's like, "Oh, this is why everything's gonna crash." And I remember just sitting there. I was like, "Didn't somebody think of that? Like, we didn't know that's what was gonna happen." And she's like, "Right, but we're all using hardware from the 70s, and that you know." We didn't even know if the internet was going to catch on and be a thing. There's this pretty famous article. I think it was in the Wall Street Journal. It says the internet's a passing fad. It was from like 1992 or something like that. And yeah, it's. I think people. I remember when ChatGPT came out, and they said it's shocking. It had 1 million users within the first day it was open. I had to Google what is ChatGPT. I didn't know what it was and why everybody was using it. And it's just so crazy now you ask people how often they use it, even the least technical people use it occasionally. It's insane how fast that
Except for
happened.
me.
Well, except for you, but you use other AI. It's not like you don't use AI. You just don't use that AI.
Yeah,
But
because of philosophical reasons.
um. So anyway, yeah.
So
So
that's a good segue to go to our templated agenda, and this is something here. Most of our efforts are still around building We Own, our real estate and cooperative ownership for everyone. But here, like hanging out, it's 9:34 p.m. on a Tuesday night, and the reason that we're here hanging out is because of our felt culture. Fun, earning, learning, and giving. And I absolutely do have a great time doing these live streams, which is why that I do it. And I've got more luxury than most as far as choosing, and that's something that Tyler helps to amplify. So thank you, Tyler, for helping me have enough autonomy where, and this is something that I'm looking forward to also freeing you up to have more autonomy so that you can focus on some things that you love. And one of those is talking about our upcoming book, the Buy the Dip, Follow the Money. And before we scroll down, this is one of the things and this is evidenced. I mentioned didn't really spend any amount of time between yesterday's money printer conversation, day 5, and day 6, and that's evidenced here in our agenda. And one of the things going back to document, iterate, and automate is documenting the steps. So we talked a little bit here about our live stream format, why that we do this live stream format. And here, the one that I want to talk about is provides a component to our content strategy. Creating content, social media posts, videos, written articles, etc., takes an immense amount of effort. We are already planning on having these team calls anyway, instead of just letting these meetings come and go. By being intentional about facilitating with this live streaming format, it automagically turns every alliance call into multiple pieces of content through multi-streaming technology that Restream IO provides. And this is something here in 2025 when we created this Notion page, why live stream format in 2021, AI was not a conversational piece in 2025. AI really went mainstream in the last 2 or 3 years due to the success of GPT-3, largely speaking, and then King Zuck with his meta empire with Facebook and Instagram continues to invest very heavily into AI. And one of the contributions that he did is open source the Olama LLM with all of the intelligence that they had compiled through that. But going back to provides a component to our content strategy, this is something that I want to spend a little bit of time this evening talking about steps here. So, like, let's just start with our step one. Live stream. And there's quite a bit of steps that happen in order for the coordination of this. And then, like here the other day, we created a template for a blog post. Let's actually go to the YonksTEAM website, and this is at YonksTEAM.xyz. We're going to switch this over here fairly soon. Not sure what that's going to look like. We may use YonksTEAM.xyz and Yonks.team. Um, not going to spend any time as far as the strategy behind that. And looking forward here, build the money printer using AI. That's absolutely going to be one of the things that we're talking about. So, anyway, talking about the content strategy, let's actually just go through. This is a manual process. So, like, let's go back to the steps here real quick. So, steps, live stream. So let's talk about creating the blog post, create blog post. And this post will exist on multiple places. One of the tools that we're planning to incorporate in our content strategy, and I'm going to actually break this out here real quick, pull this window off screen. So here, like, let's do this. Let's create a bullet list here. Um, so WordPress, and this is our personal. So WordPress personal brand site at Yonks team.xyz. That's where we're building here with WeOwn.Cloud. We'll flip the switch to that later. So that's one place that we're going to create our blog post. And getting this automated, another place is on paragraph.com. And Paragraph.com, I like to say, is a Web3 enabled. When you think about Medium.com, which has been a pretty successful software as a service solution to simplify personal blogging here in the 21st century, it's that plus Substack, which has also been the number one software as a service platform for newsletter creators. And Paragraph is basically you mash those two together, and I'll just put in here in parentheses a uh, a Web3 of Medium.com plus Substack.com. And one of the reasons that I love about Paragraph, as far as I know, they still have a one-time lifetime cost where you can use Paragraph on the back end, but bring your custom domain. Remember, we've already talked about personal branding, business branding. Here, the money printer, we're talking, and to be clear, like this is one of the things that we're not going to be implementing the money printer for ecosystem brands. We're really planning our We Own Team associates to handle the lead generation and the conversion to convert them into ecosystem members. And this is one of the things that will bake into our user journey. Not sure what that's going to look like in our architecting progressive decentralization model. I can't remember if I've got the subdomain blog.yonks.team. And I'll put that in parentheses here, blog.yonks.team. So here talked about personal brand, and to bring that full circle with an ecosystem brand, we have weown.blog, and this is a great example of what that looks like. Let me open that, weown.blog. And that's another TLD that we have. I'm not sure what TLDs that we have surrounding .blog. Not that important, but as you can see here, anybody that's been to a newsletter site, this is what I talk about when it looks like Substack in some elements, but feels like Medium.com in others. So we're just going to click on read it first. And this is like an action item that I need to do, but this is what it looks like. Right now, we don't even have any posts. So this is something that we will absolutely elevate. Season two for We Own Ecosystem is right around the corner on October 7th. And that's one of the things that we will bake into our money printer here. We're positioning this here, and that's evidenced a little bit. No, not really. Anyway, so getting back to the steps. And like may even be uh, and this is another thing, Notion, really wanting Notion to be a component of our content syndication or our content strategy. Like we're using Fluent boards for task management, and it it has I anyway. And this is something let's see, content um database. And that's another thing, and maybe even on GitHub. Like I've got and this is something just thinking out loud. One of the things that I actually had elevated a little bit, like one of the GitHub hacks around a personal README file. And let me show you here my original one with Team Yonks. And this is where we had a little bit of a brand tilt from Team Yonks to Yonks.team. You've seen me regularly use team in all uppercase, but here I have a personal README file and it allows a very different look and feel compared to what my current GitHub. This is one that I sunset when we pivoted from Team Yonks to Yonks Team. And my GitHub for Yonks Team is all uppercase. And this is something that you can see. This has a more traditional look and feel because I don't have a personal README file. So that's something that we may create like just a snippet of content, like a workshop around like personal branding, how to position yourself on GitHub. And GitHub is definitely more dev centric, but with us building in open source, do you have a GitHub, Tyler? I think you do. I don't know if you've got anything on it.
I think I've got the stuff that we built in Retoken, and that's about it. Um, so yeah, I have one, but I'm not a dev, and so that's if there's anything on it, that's the only stuff that's in this participation in that repo.
Yeah, and that's one we're here talking about. I see that you're a member of that organization. So anyway, that's a little tangential to the conversation, but it's worth mentioning. I'm going to actually add this as a bullet point here, GitHub, and this is like real simple, like having your content in a decentralized manner. Because one of the value propositions like this, and I think it's gotten decreased from a priority standpoint. But one of the things that's been a solid element of building an SEO strategy is backlinking. And you think about having our content, and that's one of the other reasons that I like about this live stream format is that it provides some backlinking around the content. And that's something that we can incorporate in a elevated manner and will do. And I'm not sure like there is some capability to go back and edit descriptions. YouTube is definitely the one that is got the most replay value of content. But anyway, so did I miss anything, Tyler, as far as some places that we would really like to see our content syndicated around various channels?
No, I think you got them all.
So, and I don't know if there's some sort of tool in workflow around content syndication strategy, but that's something that we can talk about. Most of the workflow automation. One of the things that's worth mentioning is we're using Fathom Video and something that we're paying for. Full disclosure, Tyler and I are also investors through WeFunder.com of Fathom. So anyway, I'm going to go through the step here real quick on our YonksTEAM website. So let me go to our posts. One of the things too that we need to implement here fairly quickly, it's not that big of a deal because we haven't really created that much content on WordPress yet. But one of the things that we need to do, Tyler, is create some categories and what's the other, besides category, what's the other element that's used? Tags, category and
Thanks.
tags. Yeah. So this is where I still get a little bit of confusion around best practices, the difference of a category and a tag. So that's something that I think would be worthwhile because that's some core functionality in WordPress is that category and tag. And it's a lot easier to have a great solid foundation from a best practices because it does affect one thing that's not a good thing to do is to change a category or a tag. And this is something that we've talked a little bit about. We'll talk more about with Yoast SEO as far as, and I'm not sure if there's any, that's something that we can take a look at. And I'll see if there's a good piece of content here as far as best practices around WordPress and categories and tags. But right now, the posts are all uncategorized. So I'm just going to click on add a post. So this is day 6. We didn't create a post yet for day 5 or day 4. I'm not sure if I'm going to worry about day 4 right now because that was from like 10 days ago. But and let me see here. I'm just gonna get the copy and paste here from Notion. And I can't remember what I've been. Let me actually just go open this in another tab. And I'm not sure if there's, so I just used a real simple money printer day and the number. So let's just call this. And it'll be interesting to see how long this series runs. And that's something that I don't know if we really need to discuss right now, but Money Printer Day 5 and that slug works well. And let's just copy the template here. If I remember correctly, this copied and pasted decently as well. So let's see. Um, and I'm fairly certain that we're using cadence here. I'm going to go ahead and publish that. Publish, view post. And the thing, we're ran in a little bit of copy and paste stuff. But yeah, there's our money printer day 5 conversation. I'm not going to take the time to add the details in here, but this goes back to document, iterate, and automate. So as far as some steps, and I'm actually going to incorporate let me see on our agenda. I thought that we incorporated this into our templated agenda, Tyler. Did that not carry over?
Which one?
The right here, update this template to incorporate the daily blog post. I had that as an action item, and that's something that didn't get done. So I'll take that. That's still an open action item. It's probably just going to be a real simple bullet point, but until we get this automated, and that's something that we're hoping to have in place within the next week. And this is one of the things that we can work with our new fractional chief marketing officer, Tim K. Web3. We'll be doing a more formal announcement of that here soon. But we're also having a conversation around onboarding an AI digital marketing intern. And the more that we can see if there's any tweaks that we need to do, because I've discovered that there's some nuances around the live stream creation process. And that's one of the things that the more that we can document, iterate, and automate, the more that we know the nuances where we can elevate, like LinkedIn. LinkedIn is, I'm very excited to get great at LinkedIn marketing. When you think about us disrupting strategic professional verticals, professionals mostly gather on LinkedIn and creating the money printer. As I've said, we'll continue to say one of the core components of the money printer is paying for social marketing and executing a social marketing campaign. That's another super agent that we're going to build is for social marketing. That's such a key component, billions of people. I'm likely going to be dusting off a YonksTEAM TikTok account that I created because getting great at creating snippets of content and packaging that on a social media platform that's had the most growth, where a good portion of audiences gravitate towards. So time will tell. And that's a likelihood. But that being said, I'm going to go ahead and duplicate the template for tomorrow night. We're going to be back tomorrow night at the same time. Not sure about Thursday. I've got to take a look at the schedule for Thursday. But I'm excited about the money printer. I'm excited about simplifying this, really getting this playbook created. This is where we're really still working towards getting a solid foundation where we're packaging an immense amount of expertise. And like just to amplify our level of commitment, we've already spent 5 grand here in 2025 around a WordPress consultant. That's not a isolated multi-thousand dollar spend to bring the technology tools that we're providing through what we're doing. Like the WordPress plugins, we've spent thousands of dollars in licenses to unlock that. But anyway, I'm going to stop talking. Is there anything else that we want to talk about here, Tyler, before we bring this tonight's money printer conversation to a close?
No, I think we're good.
So, and this is something too that we will continue to iterate on. And I'm gonna provide here. We've got 5 minutes left. Always want to be respectful of everyone's time. What's something, and I'm going to open this up for you, Tyler, Roman, or Lotus. What's something that you think that we should focus on here around the money printer creation for YonksTEAM? And I want, because I'm open to hear ideas, and that's one of the reasons I love this format.
I want to put the playbook out there, get the playbook developed that we've got the outline for, but just flesh that out, add in all the automations, and then publish it. That's my goal for the affiliates so that everybody can do it.
So what is your expectation from a timeline standpoint? Because the playbook, like this is something that but anyway, go ahead. I'm going to let you answer your expectations on the playbook.
Well, just the all of the internal automations of what's 0 to 1 getting a lead in the door look like, and then once the lead is in your system, what is everything that needs to be set up, and then how can it flow from thing to thing. So getting it into your CRM, do you have your CRM hooked up, and do you have your tags hooked up so that people, and then can your automations be tagged, and so on and so on. I want to get all that done.
So, and what is your expectation? Because there's like, this is something that we need to really figure out as far as who are you expecting to do that? Like, here we're talking about creating a playbook and like, how do you want to deliver the playbook? Like, in what format? Because this is something that we need to be thoughtful around. I'm personally more of a fan of using the course functionality that we have within Fluent Community. But that being said, what are your thoughts as far as delivering this playbook so that people can successfully execute?
I think the course is fine, or either the course or a service if we decide to offer it as like a done for you, which I don't know if we want to do that or not. But if we do done with you,
Well,
then this is with the
and
cohort.
that I'm going to interject on that real quick because that's a decision that the AI coach needs to make through their own. Like, I'm personally, with where we're at, Tyler, I'm not wanting to do the do it for me crowd. Now, there will absolutely be people that will have no problem that can charge a premium thousands of dollars to implement the We Own AI, We Own cloud solution that we're building for towards. But this is where like uh, creating, because I really think being intentional about getting the curriculum refined for the AI coaches in training, the upcoming young professionals peer learning cohort is important because like the more that we can run people through that model and help equip them for success where because there'll be some really motivated people that'll be like, hey, I love this interns co-op model, but my bag is onboarding clients and supporting clients. I want to become an AI coach and I'm going to just skip being an intern co-op. But there's some people that probably need the increased hand holding through a more structured format. So that's kind of my thoughts as far as like because that's where I believe that we're going to spend the most amount of efforts for the foreseeable future is filling this gap with AI coaches in training the uh, cohort model by Interns Co-op and We Own Academy. What's your thoughts on that, Tyler?
Yeah, it's good.
All right. Well, what do you have any thoughts on that topic, Roman or Lotus?
On what exactly?
Oh, just
What
like
what you need as an affiliate to be successful. So when we say Yonks team, we're not having everybody build a money printer for us personally. We're saying we as the first affiliates are trying to create the playbook for all affiliates. So what do you need as an affiliate that we can build and dog food and test it and then create it to provide to the affiliates?
I would say I have everything I need. I have plenty of things to keep building to bring this to life.
and I saw you had a mic open, Lotus. What are your thoughts?
I was just thinking when you say playbook, are we supposed to be on air like you are doing right now? Are we supposed to
No, so that's up
copy
to so that's up like the live streaming format is not something that we I have zero expectations that other people are going to embrace a live streaming format. That being said, my vision of the money printer is like creating going through the steps of setting up your money printer, and this is where we need to, the more that we can create a playbook that other people can successfully follow without me telling them what to do every step of the way, that's where you really get scale through creating um, the playbook. And this is where like a playbook can come in various formats. Like one of the things that we're doing here with this build in public format is we're a lot of the times we're actually doing things like I created a blog post here. There's a lot of details where that needs to be finished, but it literally took me 30 seconds during the live stream tonight. So the playbook is like using the technology solutions where you can put in whether it's $1 or $100 or $500 towards a social media marketing campaign, and you get more money out of the other side through the form of products sold, clients onboarded, et cetera, et cetera. And this is something that each individual person is going to have to decide. Like I've got on my desk here, Coach Builder. If you don't like, this is a book that you know, Lotus, that we just went through here very recently in our Saturday morning book club. Like, I have zero desire of writing a playbook. This is a playbook in written form. Go buy it if you want to be successful as an AI coach. This is going to be like required reading. So the opportunity for us, like this AI coaches in training, the opportunity to potentially use the Coach Builder book as a supporting dynamic. And then like we've got here, we had cohort session 27. So we've got two more cohort sessions. So we're gonna have 29 cohort sessions. So you figure somewhere around 30 cohort sessions for season two coming up here. The more that we don't have to write a book that's a playbook for other people to follow, but there's a lot of details like the thing that we're really bringing an immense value proposition to the Coach Builder book is our technology solution because we're checking a lot of boxes that a lot of coaches that are probably in the Coach Builder program pay an immense amount of more money for providing the same functionality where a lot of the times they're doing that through a software as a service model that they don't own. And when you think about the likelihood of a software as a service model being attacked and compromised from a security standpoint, that's a lot higher too. And this is one of the things that we're going to be implementing best practices around from a security standpoint. So that, and we'll be having more conversations around that, and that's something, Tyler, that I think that we should probably do is spend a little bit of time here in the next week or two. And this is where we don't have to have the entire 30 sessions for the upcoming AI coaches and training cohort finalized, but that's the one that I personally am more interested. Like, I think that we can deliver an immense amount of value because the curriculum for AI coaches in training will be very different than the curriculum for our featured cohort, AI for legal. Because probably most of the attorneys, the legal professions, unless they're burnt out and said, hey, I'm done practicing law as an attorney, I want to be an AI coach, which that's somebody that we're potentially interested in targeting is burnt out attorneys that are excited, that are technologists. But anyway, think about that because that's the more that we can create the playbook. And this is where, like, the opportunity to create multiple formats, because some people are more hands-on learners. That's one of the reasons I'm absolutely a hands-on learner. I don't have a lot of bandwidth or mental to like go through training materials. I'm like, give me a CLI or give me admin access to my WordPress dashboard. Let me install some plugins and figure this out by learning compared to going through courses or other curriculum. But that being said, there's a lot of people, the reason that the curriculum format, it's a proven format for effectively training humanity. So I'm not going to denounce the value of having a developed curriculum. So anyway, we're already 7 minutes past the hour. I'm going to stop the screen share here so that we can bring tonight's money printer conversation to a close. Like, talking about one final thing that I want to put forward. I haven't taken the time yet. I'm going to be forced to do that here pretty soon in our operation transition to abundance. But talking about elevating the content, I'm looking forward to elevating our live streaming format with the implementation of me using OBS Studio to be more of a live stream producer that'll provide more of a polished professional studio grade. A lot of professional studios, like, multi-million or billion-dollar businesses use OBS Studio to facilitate their own live production capabilities. But anyway, I'm going to stop talking. Good night, everybody. We'll be back same time tomorrow for Money Printer Conversation, and then excited about an upcoming story brand using YonksTEAM, where we're going to use story brand. Looking to schedule that sometime on Friday, and I'm going to get that scheduled with Meet With XYZ. I'm going to dust off our My IRA group that has existed in Meet With and invite some new people to that Meet With group. But anyway, good night, everybody.
Night, everyone.